Welcome to Books and Boulders, the podcast where we take a break from climbing, sit back, and dive into the world of adventure books.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Books and Boulders. I'm your host, Melanie.
And now I'm Tiffany.
Woo!
Super
And
hyped today. Don't ask me why.
I love it. I love the energy.
I think it's like the last of the sunny days. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's the last of the warm and sunny days. Like after
you're just
today and
clinging
tomorrow,
on.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
To that
Last
little bit
little
of
bit.
vitamin D.
I know technically it's fall, but in my mind it's still
Is it
summer.
technically? Oh, yeah, that was end of September. Right. I forget. Wow.
Yeah.
I hate that reality, but that's okay.
But don't we like fall? We're climbers. We're
It's
supposed to love
true.
fall.
It's true. It's true. I've always something about fall, especially I don't know. I think this is like there's like a specific association with like fall and like being a New Yorker at one point, but there was always something about fall or being an East Coaster rather, but there was always something about fall that was like, wow, I want to love this season so bad. Like it's such a beautiful season, but something about the impending doom of winter, like it's signaling winter, just gave me so much dread and anxiety living on the East Coast. And it's we still have winter here and it can get really gray in New Mexico, but I don't know. It's like I have a better appreciation for fall here. Even though like it's harder, the seasonal changes like within the landscape are more subtle because we don't have as many trees and the few that we have are like evergreen. So you don't really see like the changing colors and stuff like that unless you go further north. But yeah, hopefully I can go on some cute drives or something.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get back in my hiking bag.
Oh yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've like
Nice.
recruited some newly found friends to
Cute.
try to get outside more. And I did like a 1 mile hike, which is so below what I would normally do, but I was just let me test it out.
Easing back
Can
into
I
it.
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love fall. I mean, obviously I am on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And also that wonderful world of climate change. It'd be like, is this fall? Is this summer fall?
We don't
Like
know.
I
Yeah.
I don't even remember a in my mind compared to when I moved to New York in 2012. I don't feel like I have seen or felt a winter like my first 5 years in New York in at least 5 years. Like that's like the moment I rode my bike in the dead of summer to work an hour away and I didn't sweat, I was like, wait, what? It like
This
normally it was
year?
like
No.
no, it wasn't this year, but I'm just saying like the
Um,
summers were cooler
yeah.
and the winters were like it was like the what I was used to wasn't the case. Like usually the
Right.
summers were like really hot and the winters are really snowy and cold. And then it
Right.
was like there was like just this shift.
Right.
So
Mm.
so now, yeah, fall be falling. I mean, December, it be feeling fine out here.
Oh my
It's
God.
weird. The only downside
Yeah.
is just you get like 5 hours of daylight.
Right.
So that's the
Yeah.
depressing part. You wake up, it's dark. Well, when I worked in an office before you leave, it's
Right.
dark.
And then when you
So
leave, it's dark again. And
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
wait, am I living in perpetual nighttime?
Where's
Like-
where's the sun? Ah,
oh my
yeah.
God. It is so bizarre the way we try to like force our circadian rhythm to fit into like the, I don't know, work structure that we have as people. But, anyways.
Yeah. That was random. We definitely just jumped straight into some random head
Yeah.
first.
Thanks for rolling with us. What do you think? What do you think about the seasonal shift?
Right? How are
um,
y'all living life out there?
yeah. Well, I mean, we had a check-in, but I guess before we get into it, like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I mean, it sounds like you're feeling good. I guess that was our check-in, but where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as good as any American can be. I just got back from Vegas. I think I mentioned that
Oh,
I would be
yeah.
going to Vegas. Um, It was actually really, really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Temperature wise, it didn't feel hot where I was at. It's probably the first time I've been to Vegas and I was like on the strip, like
Mm.
staying on the strip. I've
Okay.
never really done that. So
Yeah.
that was a little bizarre and I kind of felt trapped. But it was weird to in Vegas, Colorado. I don't in Utah, living somewhere where you can just I don't know, I just am obsessed with staring at mountains.
Oh
Like it
yeah.
is the coolest thing to me. Like I could not imagine if I looked out my window right now and I could just look at a mountain like that.
Mhm.
God, if this country wasn't such trash, I would be like, you know what? I'm gonna get some property somewhere where I can
Mhm.
just stare at mountains all because it is so
Get into
intoxicating.
watercolor.
I don't even draw and I want to draw some stuff. Like it is so
Yeah.
gorgeous. Like I
Yeah.
love it.
Wow.
But I didn't get to do anything outdoorsy, which was also just bizarre for me to be in Vegas and not.
Yeah.
But I did get to climb.
Ooh.
Yeah, I went to Refuge, which has been on my bouldering gym list for a really long time.
Hmm.
Mostly because of a YouTuber that I follow, even though I haven't been watching YouTube content as much. But
Mhm.
yeah, I went to Refuge. It's just like I always thought it was gonna be like a really hard set gym, and maybe it was. I don't really know, but mind you, I don't even know the last time I went climbing in a gym. So
Mhm.
it was fun, and it was
Mhm.
interesting because I keep forgetting that I can still climb despite not climbing very often. Like I
Mhm.
always think that it's gonna magically just go away like dust. Like, oh, if you don't, you know how some things you lose it if you don't do it.
Mhm.
And I guess in climbing you can lose certain some strength because there was definitely points where I mean I honestly did this right before dinner time and I was hungry,
Mhm.
so I decided to project a climb I had no business projecting. It wasn't even a hard climb, but it had hard moves
Yeah.
and I don't know, but ever since I've been swimming and I've been jumping in the
Nice.
pool, like literally because I can't jump in real life, so this feeling of being able to jump, I've been more comfortable falling, which is weird.
Nice. Whoa, that's
Yeah,
great. That's huge.
yeah. So I've
Wow.
been, yeah. You'll see more videos of me actually like jumping down from higher heights and trying
Wow.
harder climbs and falling unexpectedly. It's still not smart or, you know, whatever, but it
Wow.
still feels good. It feels
Wow.
good. So,
Cool. Nice. Cool. Well, I'm glad Vegas was, I mean, I'm glad you got to climb and I'm glad you had that experience. Vegas is something. Being on the strip is crazy.
it's, it's, it'll probably be my last time, but yeah.
Yeah. I remember going this summer and I was with my partner and or actually it was in the spring, like early late spring, but um yeah, I remember I was like, yeah, I want to do like a mix of climbing and like naturey stuff, but also some like Vegasy stuff. And like we went to a show on the strip. We went to see O Cirque du Soleil, which was amazing. I love that. But then like, and it was kind of fun hanging out at night, like just people watching and stuff. But then we went during the daytime, and oh my God, Tiffany, it was so miserable. It was
Yeah.
like, I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
It was hot. It was hot. It was extra hot because it was like all the cement and the concrete in the buildings. I feel like they trapped the heat. It was like people
Hmm.
everywhere. And I just felt like my stomach was upset. I couldn't eat. Like I just, oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. So I feel you, but I'm glad you got to do some things that were like good for you and that you enjoyed. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even though I wasn't there for climbing, so, you know, that's the way it landed, but
Yeah.
it was honestly just good to be out of New York for a minute because
Word.
I am a Rolling Stone and I really felt like I hadn't rolled anywhere in a minute. So, like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I'm really trying feverishly to plan a big trip next
Big
year.
escape. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really trying to be like out for 2 to 3 months. So
Yeah.
I should just chill.
Word. Yeah, it'll all pay off. Like now's a good time to hunker down for winter, and just, what do they say? I don't know. Har- Collect your acorns and whatever.
You
But
know,
yeah.
I'm in New Jersey, so I'm gonna vote and pray and then see what happens. If I need
Right.
to exit stage left or not.
I
So,
hear that. I hear
how's
that.
life over there?
Ah, whoa.
That looks
Just a
like a
fly.
bee.
Yeah, did you see that? Okay. um Life is lifing, it's got its highs and its lows, but today I'm feeling more energized than I have been in a couple days. My parents and my aunts were in town. My dad loves driving for some reason, so he drove from DC with my mom, and then they drove into Houston, which is where my dad's from and where like the rest of his family lives. They're my family too, but you guys already knew that. But he picked up my aunts, and then yeah, they drove to Albuquerque. It was my two of my aunts' first time really being in Albuquerque, and they got to go to the balloon fiesta, and that was cool. I didn't go with them this time. I wanted to, but I just felt like I had like too much going on. But the balloon fiesta is sick. If you ever have a chance to go, and check out Mass Ascension. I think they only do it on the weekends, but it's a really cool
Is
experience.
this
I'm
hot air
sad.
balloons?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know how when the first balloon fiesta was in Albuquerque, but I believe New Mexico has the largest hot air balloon festival in the world. Maybe compared to, I think there might be one in Turkey that might rival it, but I think we have the biggest one in the world. You know, hot air balloons and green chili. That's what we got over here. But but yeah, so that was cool just getting to hang out with them. And I don't know, I've been kind of like going through it a little bit emotionally. So it was just nice to have like that familiarity and like family and have people tell me they love me.
Yeah.
um,
Oh, I love you.
Thanks, Tiff. I love you too. But yeah, I don't know. It was just nice to have like my people because I feel like I don't really have that as much as I want to in New Mexico. So that was cool. Um, and there's nothing like the warmth of a mother. So that was also cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and had some good heart to hearts, and so that was nice. And yeah, and here we are. I went to go play kickball. I didn't really play this time. I've been like recently getting into kickball. I don't know if I mentioned this the last time, but
Mm-mm.
I've gone, they play now that it's like fall. I think they'll start playing more, but it's really just a group of friends that's kind of formed like a league. And I didn't really play this past time because I was just like, I don't want to. But I did like go and soak up the vibe. So that was fun. But yeah, I'm excited. There's another game before Halloween, and kickball's fun, dude.
It is. It is.
Like,
I've done it. I've done it.
yeah, I don't know. Trying to sprint in your 30s is insane. It's like the first time I did that, it took my legs like 2 weeks to recover. So I'm definitely trying to like, get back into my shuffle. But yeah, it was cool. And it's fun to kind of be like a little bit mediocre at something and have it be like low stakes and just fun and playful. And
Yeah.
there's no real purpose other than fun. So that was cool. But yeah, that's how I'm doing. That's what's going on with me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I
Cool.
can't believe we're back at the
Yeah.
start.
I know.
So
Yeah, last book of the
another
season.
the last book of the season. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But wow, I'm so proud of us.
Salute.
Like,
Our
we
consistency. We're
did a
still here.
thing. Like, we're doing a thing. Like, that's cool. And it's like, it's sweet. It's been like a nice thing to just like look forward to. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's served its purpose. Like we hope
Mhm.
y'all are out there with us, but even if you aren't, it is
I'm,
so
I'm having fun.
self-fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without the pressure of creating this for you all, we
Yeah.
probably wouldn't do it on our own. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I mean, it's nice to read a book, but it is also nice to kind of just have like that. And I've never belonged to an actual book club,
Mhm.
so this like micro macro book club vibe is it's a vibe. So
Yeah. 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 I'm loving it.
Oh,
Cool.
and I am the one who picked this book, so sorry if y'all hate it.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't. I guess it's new, actually. Like it's
Hmm.
newish. It's not an old book like the last one, so it is kind of bringing things into a different perspective. I mean, a lot of, I guess, this it was published recently, I should say. Like it was
Mm.
published this year.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
just saw in the sleeve how it says it mentions Cheryl Strayed's Wild. And so, did you know that?
That's
When
how
you
I found it.
Oh,
Because
okay,
I
okay,
was
okay.
like, I Googled, well, wait, no, I don't, what, I think I Googled like climbing adventure books or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I was just trying to find another book and
Right.
when I Googled it, it mentioned Cheryl Strayed. So I was like, oh, well, this is an appropriate transition.
Okay.
And it's about climbing. So
Yeah.
it's still in the realm of the world, even though it's, mountaineering type, but not necessarily through hiking. But
Right. Yeah, yeah. I didn't realize it was published in 2025. But I mean, tell the people, what are we reading, Tiffany?
okay, so we're reading a book called Enough, Climbing Toward a True Self on Mount Everest. It is by Melissa Arnot Reid. I think sometimes she's referred to as Mel.
Hmm.
And yeah, I can't really tell you much about the book other than I know like her main focus and goal is to climb these high altitude mountains such as Mount Everest with no oxygen.
Hmm.
And as someone who is, I think the highest altitude I've done was like in Colorado, maybe 12,
Hmm.
13,000 feet.
Hmm. Hmm. No, you went to Mauna Kea though. What's the altitude there?
I don't know, but I didn't
Okay.
climb it.
Oh,
We
true, true,
drove
true. You
up
just
it.
got to the
So
top. Yeah.
yeah, I did
Took the
Mount
elevator.
Washington. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's something about those, like I
Hmm.
know people go to Colorado to train.
Hmm.
And I think the training center was there at one point for people
Hmm.
who could get into these like environments that emulated that altitude change and being able to adjust to the altitude change.
Hmm.
But I don't think I've been to, other than Colorado, places where I had to like worry about my breathing. So
Hmm.
I'll say it's interesting, and
Okay.
so and it's at the library, even though
That's amazing.
you get a good library. I mean, the other book we read about scuba diving, that was a brand new book too, because they was harassing me about bringing that book back. But
Oh, they're usually pretty chill about it. Wow, at least here in New Mexico, but I think most libraries are. They're like,
I mean, they
no,
weren't harassing
take that
me, but
back.
I was getting, yeah, they weren't like knocking on my door or sending threatening emails, but
Right.
there was a difference between an old book. Like the old books, they just we auto renewed, and
Right.
it's like, hey, so this book here, you get to auto renew, sister. This is a new release. Bring it back. And I was like, we're not doing this. Oh my god,
That's
just
so
charge me
funny.
25 cents. I'll pay for it. So, but
Wow.
yes, it's a new book. So, and there are a lot just off the rip. If you did enjoy, well, I shouldn't say that because I haven't read the whole thing, but
Mhm.
it is very similar in structure to Cheryl's book.
Mhm.
So, with it being broken up into these like little parts, these thematic parts.
Mhm.
So, well, I shouldn't say thematic because she doesn't actually put names to her sections, but
Mm, true.
I feel like there's still probably a rhyme and reason why they're broken up. But there's 5 parts to this book, so we'll have 5 episodes to this book that'll take us through the end of the year, and then we'll chill and relax. So again, if there's some ideas on the direction, and that actually will wrap up ladies first. So
Wow.
we may continue with ladies. We may integrate some male
We'll
authors,
think about
some
it.
some we'll see
Yeah.
what the future holds. But
Yeah.
usually I let Melanie pick these books because Lord, I don't know. So
I
again,
think
this
this
is
is gonna be
all
a good
me.
one. I'm
This is all
excited.
me.
I think it's gonna
Yeah.
be a good one. Well, I guess on that note, should we dive in? Should we get into
Let's
the discussion?
Yeah, let's dive. Let's go.
But all right, here we go. Chapter 1, Masquerade. It is 2010. And we are in Nepal, specifically at Mount Everest. Not a whole lot. I didn't have a whole lot of notes for this chapter, but I mean,
Same.
I think it like kind of sets some context, I guess. So she's in Nepal. She's climbing Everest for the third time. And this is her first time attempting it without supplemental oxygen. I think what really stood out to me was, her reasoning for wanting to climb this mountain. And we also get like a glimpse at her relationship with her family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and how, in particular, I think her relationship with her family seems to be like fraught with tension in general, but her relationship with her mom in particular is like really heavy. And it seems like there's just like a lot of resentment, a lot of tension, a lot of anger. Um, and I think it just sounds like this summit is her way, or this summit attempt is her way of proving to herself that she is worthy and
Yeah.
that she belongs and that she is respectable and that she is like on par with like the elite athletes that she admires so much, which I mean, to have like climbed Everest and be like a guide and someone who could like guide an experience on Everest, I feel like that already kind of makes you an elite
Right. Yeah, I
climber.
mean, oxygen is okay.
We like
You know,
oxygen.
if you can do it, there's people who can't climb with oxygen. So,
Right. Yeah. Right.
like,
So,
sis,
yeah.
you good.
Right, right. And you've done it more than once. But yeah, I mean, I think this is like right, like the title suggests, like her way of like proving to herself that she is enough. And I guess like similarly to Cheryl, how maybe Cheryl had slightly different reasons for, like, I don't think Cheryl would describe her reason for doing the PCT as like trying to make sure she was enough per se, but it was like there was like
Yeah.
a level of trauma that drove her to this experience. And I think, I don't know, it's interesting how trauma can like cause people to seek out extreme sports and extreme activities. Emotional trauma can like really drive people to do that. Um,
Yeah, and
but
their traumas are so different. I can
yeah.
see the alignment,
Mm,
but off the rip, I'm like, this is very, very different.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's to me, this whole chapter one masquerade setup was very much just like I was like, it was like, I want you to know who I am without knowing who I am. And I want
Mm,
you to know that I feel like I am nothing if I don't do this thing. And I
mm,
was just like, because they don't really reveal a lot in this first
mhm.
chapter. Like, you don't know why she feels like she has to do this to prove that she's of worth.
Right.
Because the whole time I'm just like, oh, that's the funny thing about it is I didn't when it compared it to Cheryl Strayed's book, I was like, oh, okay, because it's an adventure book, it's a woman.
Mhm. Hmm.
But then when I saw these little teases of like, I'm like, oh, some shit then happened to this lady. Like, oh God,
Yeah.
what has happened to this lady?
Right.
Because you can tell it's just like it would just be these pockets of like, you're nothing, you're worthless, you're
Right.
no one cares about you. And I'm like, oh, what? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I and this takes us back to another book of the guy who died on a
Mm.
mountain. Oh my
Climbing
goodness, the
free.
actual climb. Yes, climbing
Chuck.
free. Chuck.
Hmm.
I'm having all these triggers when I think about like
Hmm.
big mountains and you know these
Yeah.
environments. I just was like, this is such a weirdly, like, I don't know, like through hiking, while it seemed dangerous, it didn't
Yeah.
seem like you could die. I guess if a bear got you, maybe, but
Or that
I,
creepy ass man and his
mm,
friend.
right, yes,
Yeah.
you could definitely,
Right.
but it always
But the
felt
risks
like,
are more the physical risks, like of the
yeah,
activity itself. Yeah.
but things like climbing, like people die much more often in this space than on
Yeah.
a big wall or a through hike.
Right.
And so I'm just like, is this like not not like death obsession, but
Hmm.
I don't know what it's I don't know what I'm where I'm trying to go with this, but it was just an interesting thing of like, what are you chasing or what are you running away from, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I do feel like a lot of people who really take these types of adventure activities, I don't know. There might be people who just have a more intense personality and are driven to these things just because that's who they are. They haven't experienced any trauma, but that's just how their brain works. But for sure, I do feel like a lot of people are driven to do like really extreme things by like some sort of trauma that they've experienced, and there is like this like recklessness or this like just willingness to risk it all just to like feel something
yeah.
again. um but yeah, yeah. um Ultimately she does summit, and she gets pretty close, it sounds like, to her goal of summiting without oxygen, but like kind of like that last final push, her climbing partner is like, hey, so you want this oxygen or what? It's like
I
you're
feel
not
like he
looking
was
too good.
already like this, like it look, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do this in 2 hours. I don't know what you're
Right.
doing. Can you
Yeah.
speed up? Cause
Right.
what the what? Like we
Right.
can't be out here all day.
Right. So eventually she takes the oxygen. She does her summit, but she fails to do it without oxygen once again. And there's just like a lot of emotions that are coming up around this. And that kind of is like where she leaves us off. Like she's like priming us for like, I guess like the reality of the things that drove her to this experience, and how her failure to meet her goal and like the feelings that she feels because she didn't meet her goal are also rooted in like a lot of this trauma that she has, and a lot of this like, these, I don't want to say self-esteem issues, but these like questions about her own personal worth and value as a person and a climber. um so yeah, that's chapter 1.
Yeah,
Any
I feel like,
thoughts
and
on it?
I really I want to read the last paragraph because I think the last
Oh
paragraph
yeah,
really tees up where this transitions into.
for sure.
But it just is, as you said, she failed at her actual goal because her goal was not to summit; it was to summit without the use of supplemental oxygen. But it
Right.
said the mountain had exposed me. There was no spinning it or hiding it now. All the discomforts I had endured in my life still weren't enough to make me capable of getting through this. I wanted to be seen, to shed all the lies and layers and shadows and belong irrefutably. The failure felt heavy. I exhaled as the weight of my entire life and all the choices that had brought me to this point settled into the front of my mind. So yeah, that
Yeah, it's heavy. It's like it's not just like I fell short of this goal. It's like this goal defines my existence and my
yeah.
identity. And I short of this goal, which means that I have like my identity is like in question. Um, yeah, yeah, wow, yeah. Well, that's kind of like yeah, and I'm like I'm so curious. I mean, it sounds like eventually she did end up summiting. That's what it says on the sleeve, that she was
Yeah,
the first American to do
yeah.
so.
Just
But
like we
yeah,
kind of knew Cheryl would finish.
right.
I
Yeah,
think this is bigger than just a story about the summit.
for
Obviously,
sure.
this there's
Yeah,
more to this story than just the actual summit without oxygen. I think this is just about overcoming adversity in some way
yeah,
or
yeah,
trauma. Yeah.
yeah,
But now I feel like the rest of this first part is just how she came to be or how
yeah,
I feel like these last two are kind of just somewhat explaining a little bit about the trajectory, her background, and yeah. So chapter 2.
Chapter 2, Fences. It is 1988, and we are in Southern Colorado. And now we're really starting to get like a better understanding of who she is and her story. So we get a closer look at her relationship with her family. Her mother struggles with chronic pain. I don't recall seeing exactly why. I feel like she said in the
Yeah.
book that the origin wasn't clear, but that it could be something different like every day. Um, and her mother turns to marijuana as a pain relief, but Melissa thinks that it's actually contributing to her mother's kind of like hostility. So I guess maybe let me prime it better by saying that like well, we find out that her mother is struggling with chronic pain and that this causes her to be like really angry and like really hostile and towards her children and not even both of her children. Like it sounds like for some
Yeah.
reason it was like mainly
Like she
targeted
was
at
picked on.
Melissa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
As
it
the
sounds like
younger of the two, also.
right. Yeah, the younger of the two and also it sounds like her sister Stephanie was just like maybe a bit more like I want to say like I don't know if type A is the right word, but a bit more like by the rules, by the book. Like I do my
Hmm.
studies, I like do what I'm told, like I make things quote unquote easy for my parents.
Yeah.
Um and Melissa was a little bit more had a bit more of a rebellious spirit and just, was more inclined to maybe talk back or like get into a bit more trouble, but really was just like a kid who was just seeking love and attention and affection and it seems like the more anger and resentment she experienced from her mother, almost like the more she felt like she needed to do things in an attempt to like get that affection and that love from her mother. Um so her mother turns to weed as pain relief, but Melissa really thinks that it's like contributing to her mother's hostility and kind of like instead of desensitizing her to the pain, just like making her hypersensitive and just, causing her to be just like more intense. Um, Her father is kind of like this hippy dippy type, anti establishment, anti government. He, for most of his life, has held more menial, like labor jobs, just, to avoid a 9 to 5. And this feels like it's like in line. The type of work that he's taken is in line with his core values. Like he's okay with suffering and struggling because it is a lifestyle that's more aligned with like what he actually believes in. Which is like, what do you think about that?
I mean, look, if you can find something, that's very hard to do. I
Yeah.
mean, of course, I think that line of work doesn't require degrees and other,
Right.
things that kind of fall in line with capitalism and things that he's obviously against. But I ain't mad at it. If you can
Yeah.
find a job that actually, that, like I said, a lot of people feel trapped in corporate America and in spaces because you live this life of go to school, get a degree, get a job. You don't really
Mm-hmm.
like entrepreneurship or even alternative education and
Mm-hmm.
trades. That's not always necessarily promoted.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice that he was intuitive enough to know, like, this is what I want to do and that is what I don't want to do. And
Yeah.
at that time, he was capable of doing that work.
Yeah. It's hard. I'm trying to like reserve judgment because I agree with everything you're saying. I just feel like when you are like the parent of children, like it's like if you're by yourself and you don't have no one's depending on you, then like fine, do what you want to do, live your life, like smoke
Yeah.
weed all day, like do your little
Yeah.
carpentry whenever you feel like it. But it's like you have kids and it doesn't sound like they had like medical insurance and it's like your kids need to see doctors, they need shots,
Yeah.
they need like medication, sometimes they need like so I don't know,
And
I'm trying to reserve
they
judgment.
were living very, very modestly, like
Yeah.
in a trailer,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
he was doing just enough to get by. And it
Right.
becomes that debate, and it's funny because I know there's like all this, not to get pop culture-ish with it, but like conversations about Cardi B being pregnant for the 18th millionth time,
Oh yeah.
and like having, obviously she has the money to raise the
Right.
kids, but raising
Yeah.
kids is more than just financial. It's that emotional, which is something that we're already getting from this book.
Right.
And there's an emotional aspect to it when there is like multiple parents involved and chaos and change
Mm-hmm.
and all these different elements. And so, being in a situation where you are just getting by to take care of, and I don't think, and the mom wasn't working, right? Like, so, they had this single income that relied on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see what happens
Right.
to
Yeah.
him, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So what happens is
What happened was,
at some point he gets an accident that does put him out of work and their family struggle to survive. And I guess for him this was also a turning point because it sounds like, everything that we're talking about, he came to some of these realizations of like, I need to do work that gives me more stability so that I can provide for my family. So this accident affects his back. It puts him out of work. I don't know for exactly how long, probably like a couple of months or something like that. But their family ends up, I mean, they were already, it sounds like, struggling to survive. But at this point, they're really, really struggling and
yeah, they were
getting
getting
by.
food from like a pantry. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
They didn't have insurance. I mean, she says they didn't have insurance and they were, yeah, surviving off of donations and just like the goodwill of other people. Um, and so when he was finally able to get back to work, he got a desk job. And he ended up working for like the housing and urban development on a
yeah.
reservation. Um, and that created, changed their lifestyle a little bit. And it also created some really formative experiences for Melissa, it sounds like. Um, She also talks in this chapter again about having a rebellious spirit and the punishment. I put in parentheses abuse that she
Okay,
experienced.
okay. So we're not, because I was a little confused. I'm not gonna lie, this was feeling a little confusing to me. And I think Black culture and white folk, I don't know what to
Hmm.
call it, but like I just
Yeah.
think there's such a difference.
Yeah.
Like I was like, part of me wanted to reserve judgment because I was like, well, there's got to be more to this story.
Right.
But based on chapter 2,
Yeah.
I was confused
Hmm.
by what I felt she did perceive as, she didn't use the words abuse, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because she's still trying to come at it from a 10, 11 year, whatever age she was, perspective.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of like, all right, Melissa, I'm gonna need a little bit more here. I get, I know way more evil mamas, and
I
and and,
know.
and obviously
That's a fact.
the dad never really, he seemed very like sweet, had his little nickname, and what was
Right.
she called?
Turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about, yeah, and so I was just, I'll let you
I
go
feel you
because
though. Yeah.
I was
I
just a
feel you.
little confused.
Right. Like it's like it sounds like your mom was kind of mean and like maybe there was some like verbal abuse. Definitely like some form of neglect. Like some degree of like emotional neglect, it sounds like. Um and like I don't know if at this point her mother was like verbally abusing her, but it definitely sounds like her mom was mean.
Yeah,
And some of her punishments I felt like I was like some of her punishments I felt like were like, okay, like that sucks. No kid likes to be punished, but it's not that bad. Like some of them I was like, I could see my dad having I could see my dad doing something like this. Like when I don't remember exactly what she did to deserve this, to get this punishment, but like having to sit in the hallway all day or something like that for
yeah.
like the entire day. I'm like, I could see my dad making me do something like that. And there were definitely times when I was in high school where my dad, and like, listen, this is not, I'm just talking about, I guess, the degrees of extremity. I
Yeah.
think I am shaping my own philosophy on like parenting and like punishment versus reward and that sort of thing. And I one of the things my dad did when I was a kid was like if like there were a couple of times where he took the door off of the hinges and like and like that sucks, you know? And like I don't think I was a bad kid. I really don't. Like you know me, Tiffany. Look at me. I'm so good. I'm so good.
You could
But
also have
like,
evolved, but yes,
yeah. But you know, it would
Big
be
Mel
like
is good.
yeah, it would be. I just feel like I got punished a lot of times for things that were very typical for a
Mhm.
teenager, like for like talking back, you know. And it's like,
Yeah,
you know, but black folks, black parents, especially of a certain generation,
yeah.
that is like as bad as it can get, you know. Like, like it's like, oh, you
You
talk
talk
back.
back.
Oh
Yeah,
no, oh
that's
no.
like you shot somebody. Like,
Right. Like, so they were like, I think in the grand scheme of things, like, I feel like Black parents in general tend towards like more extreme levels of punishment that I personally, like, my personal philosophy is that I don't think that that's necessarily
the
the
way.
way that you should
Yeah.
do things, but I turned out okay, I guess.
I agree. That's the funny thing. Like I said that, when I thought I was gonna have kids, I would not have necessarily. And I was also a good kid. I didn't get honestly. I didn't really get punished or
Yeah.
whoopings or anything. Like I didn't. But I was also just quiet, shy, and whatever.
Yeah.
But I had relatives. I saw how my aunts raised their kids, and there were things that I was very much like, I would never, I would never, I would
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But also there was that other side that I did see when I did get a more multicultural friend group, and I was like,
Mm.
I would never like you need
Right.
to say like I'm gonna need you to be the mama. Like
Right.
why? So
Yeah.
like I do see there's a just thin line between discipline and how to discipline, but
Right.
also how to emotionally support without over emotionally supporting, because
Yeah.
you can be a little bit too
Right.
but my vibe is that Melissa was very high energy and
Yeah.
also a highly emotional needy child,
Mhm.
which is very complex because
Mhm.
someone who does
Mm.
have all of that life
Mhm.
and energy and defiance, you almost don't think they need that. And
Hmm.
I think there was this perception because her sister is shy and obedient that she might have needed more of the soft life,
Hmm.
and that because Melissa gave the hard that she could handle the hard.
Hmm. Interesting. Whoa.
Like I think people subconsciously handle their kids in the way that their personalities emote, in my
Right.
opinion. So I just think it's interesting because as we'll find out
Hmm.
when we get to chapter 3,
Hmm.
that she needed more love
Mhm.
than I think she could even give. I think too that was a thing. I don't think Melissa was the like, "Hi mom, how are you?" I mean, she was
Hmm.
just constantly like, "I don't like her. I don't and not saying that it isn't the parents' fault,
Yeah.
but I think she had a certain personality that, oh, it sounds mean, but I just felt like she didn't have the most warm, loving personality that made her. And God, I get it. You should love your
Yeah.
kids no matter what, but I'm just hypothesizing here,
Right.
folks.
Right.
I
Right.
don't, without
Yeah.
knowing the full breadth of the story,
Yeah.
that's the vibe that I got from this
Right.
chapter and from her preliminary talks about her parents.
Yeah, and it almost sounds like hearing you say that, it almost just sounds like there was like a feedback loop. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know who started it. Ultimately, I agree that like as a parent, like it is your responsibility if there is that feedback loop to like break that loop and like intervene and like figure out how you can repair your relationship with your child and like put them on the right trajectory, like emotionally, physically, whatever. Um but it does sound like there was like maybe her parents also were not especially her mom was also not completely emotionally evolved and mature, and there was just like their negativity kind of fed one another's negativity.
Yeah.
um but I mean, okay, so like I agree. I'd be curious to know what other punishments or like what other language her mother used. But the whole locking your kid in a closet thing does feel kind of insane to me.
Wait,
Like,
did they get locked in the closet or in the
or not
room? Because I
closet,
could.
they got locked in their bedrooms.
Okay, yeah, and they were like giving bread or something
I
to like.
don't,
It
I
was
don't even remember. But I know one point her mom was like her mom was like, take all your stuff out of your room, and they locked them
right.
in. And like I think I get it. I get it. What I think felt like it was like veering into like the realm of like actual abuse was that her parents would lock them in the room and then leave
Leave.
and like
Yeah.
go away and then come back. And I'm like, that's where it starts to feel a little bit like,
Yeah.
okay,
Neglectful.
maybe you're crossing a line, because like
Yeah.
what if something happened to you like while you were out and now your kids are stuck here
Locked. Like
just
a medical
for
emergency.
however
Can't.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
So,
know cell phones weren't a thing.
right. And they live on this
I
trailer, bunch of
yeah.
land around. If they scream, what's the likelihood somebody can hear them? Like, that's where I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah. No, the room thing was weird. That was.
Yeah.
And the interesting, I guess the part of this is all that fascinates me is when there's another perspective.
Hmm.
So, like Cheryl had two other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And while we don't get those perspectives in Cheryl's book,
Mm-hmm.
she does tend to bring almost her sister's perspective in a little bit.
Hmm.
And I was, it was interesting to me
Mm-hmm.
how the softer kid, the more obedient kid, seemed to handle the punishments
Hmm.
a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like you would think that her being more defiant would be a bit more thicker skinned. But
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
but no, I thought I didn't think necessarily the verbal stuff was as bad as when they got locked in the room. Then I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
This is starting to get a little weird here.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Um, so I guess I mean that's kind of like the gist of that chapter. Towards the end, she experiences a dare presentation in kindergarten. I don't know if y'all
Yeah,
remember.
damn.
Dare to
I feel like
stay off drugs or whatever. I don't know what it
only
was.
the 90s, the 80s babies know about Dare because we
Was
were like at that age when they were coming in and doing the Dare presentation.
Yeah, I actually have a Dare shirt. I think I wore it to Blackout Fest once.
I think you did actually.
Yeah. But gosh, what did that stand for?
Oh,
Drug
dang it. They said
something
it in here.
something.
I got it. Drug drug abuse resistance education.
Okay,
I
right. I
couldn't have
never
told you
knew.
that prior
Like
to this.
I never knew.
I knew it was
I
an
thought it was an
acronym.
actual dare.
Oh no. I definitely knew if I knew that little bit about it that it was an
An
acronym
acronym.
because they had the periods, but I was like, oh, drug abuse resistance. I mean, I knew it was about drugs
Drug
because
abuse resistance.
I don't know what kid actually like took it seriously though. I'll be honest. I don't know
Yeah.
what
It was
kid
like a
was
free
like,
period.
yeah. It was just
Yeah.
like, all right, y'all done
Like I don't have
talking.
to
Like,
learn
let me go
anything
smoke this
cool.
oregano. Like, what?
Yeah, so she gets that presentation, and for the first time she learns that like her parents are doing something wrong. So I think this gives her a little bit of vindication. Like she's like, oh, I have something on you guys now. And
Mm-hmm.
now, like, I have some leverage. I have a little bit more power in this dynamic, which she, as we will see, ends up using in a way that is probably not great. But
Mm-hmm.
she does
Mm-hmm.
feel like she has power, and she starts to fantasize about running away and escaping her current life. And that kind of leads us into the next, I mean, as chapters do, that leads us into the next chapter. But I think it really, yeah, sets the stage for the fact that it's about to go down in this next
Yeah.
chapter. So,
Yeah, and what's interesting though is I feel like all this stuff she's telling us about is actually before things really hit the fan for her. Because I don't know if it was the first or the second chapter, but
oh,
she does say like after age 12 was the turning point of when like
shit. So it hasn't even
yeah,
really gotten real yet. Oh my gosh.
no,
Oh
no.
no. Oh no.
I think there's a lot. I know chapter 3 that we're talking about now. So, we're on chapter 3, Revelations. I think chapter 3 was the most appropriately titled. Not that the
Mm,
other two weren't, because I can see like the hidden meanings behind those titles.
yeah.
But I think this is like the setup for how everything else goes in this person's life, or is
Right.
kind of the ripple roll effect of everything else that happens to
Right. Like
her.
this is the real. I mean, things were
Yeah.
bad up until this point, but this is the real turning point. It went from
Yeah.
worse to worser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, chapter 3, Revelations. We are still in Southern Colorado. It is 1993. It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees. Okay. um, well, yeah, so 1993, Southern Colorado. Um, the chapter starts out where she is 9 years old and her parents get arrested for growing that reefer madness.
And we just
And
thought they was smoking it.
I know, I didn't realize. Yeah, I did not realize that they were actually growing it as well. But they get arrested, they get ratted out by a neighbor, I guess, or somebody. The way the
I feel like
story,
they probably live in a trailer park. Let's just be real.
yeah, yeah. It
They
sounded
they
like
said
they
they're
had
on a
land.
reservation. But
Okay,
I thought they were like it sounded like
right.
they were on the Southern Ute reservation.
Reservation. Yeah, at some point when her dad got that job, I think they transitioned. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
So,
feel like there's multiple trailers. So people was probably smelling that sticky
mm,
icky and was like,
right, right.
excuse me, because
Wow.
this was still the
Yeah.
90s. It wasn't
Right, right. Yeah.
where we are
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. So they get in trouble for growing weed. They get arrested and they get separated, which I found interesting, especially because they didn't end up going to jail. Like her dad ends up continuing his job, which I thought was like, wow, that's lucky. Like your job
Yeah,
probably knows that you got arrested for weed and they're letting you keep your job, which is like, I don't know. I thought
yeah.
it was
And he
interesting.
was living in a halfway house.
Right.
So
And then her
that
mom, yeah. Sorry, go
that
ahead.
meant like for someone who I think she needed her dad's softness to balance out the
Right.
hardness of her mom. And so I think whatever period of time he was not in the home was
Yeah.
highly affected or affect whatever the word is. It really
It had
impacted
an
her.
impact on her. Yeah. Yeah. So her mom stays, and her punishment is that she has to do community service, which it sounds like her mom is getting something out of. And this ends up being like a positive experience for her. So I feel like even though she was separated from her dad, it sounds like there was a brief window of peacefulness between in her household when her mom like had this job at the she ends up doing community service there and then ends up taking a job there after her community service ends. And it sounds like that was a period of peacefulness. But I found that interesting that they got separated because, I mean, I guess like the law probably justified it as, oh, we need to separate you all so you don't conspire and try to like do this again. But I just thought like these are two parents that are trying to raise kids. Like it seems like it could be more damaging to separate them, especially if you're just going to bring them back together again. Like it seems like I don't know. I just thought that was an odd thing. um but she and her sister are left in the care of her mother while her dad lives and works separately. She starts to see a change in her mother, and I think part of it was definitely like the job that she had at this
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence shelter. I think that's what it was. And she at the time assumes it's also because of weed. um but apparently her mom had been smoking weed the whole time. I don't know how she hid it from her, but at a certain point she is definitely like Melissa knows that she's definitely like back smoking weed again, and she's doing it in the house. And the shift that she's seeing in her mother is short lived. Eventually, her parents are able to reunite, but I think that that was kind of like a formative experience. And we fast forward later in the chapter to when she's 11 years old, and this is so fucked up. An officer comes to her school, I guess, to teach about dare. It sounds
Yep.
like.
Yeah, he was at least one of the instructors, the dare instructors.
Okay, right. Um, and so I don't know. She ends up developing a crush on him, basically, and
Yes.
he kind of like notices her and like kind of targets her. Like he's like, "Oh, I see that you're looking at me. It seems like you have something on your mind. It seems like you have something that you want to share. Like I can sense that you're feeling pain. What's going on?" And so he kind of like, you know, I don't know what the verb for being a predator is, but it sounds
He
like he,
latches on and starts
yeah,
to some degree grooming this child, I
yeah,
feel.
he's totally a predator, totally a groomer. Um, and he, picks up, I think, on a vulnerability or a weakness in her and just like exploits it. Um, he's 20, he has six kids and four
Hmm.
wives at
Yeah, and
26
and
years
going
old
through a divorce.
and going through a divorce
How do you get
at
married
26.
4 times?
Before you're 26, especially like or before you're 20, before you're 30, like but four
I'm
times is crazy.
sorry.
Yeah,
If I
just
meet a man and he tells me he's been married 3 times before,
run.
and then he asks, "Will you marry me?"
No, I will not.
I'm a expeditiously walk to the exit.
Expeditiously. Yes.
I what?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Four?
Four
Four?
times.
I'm gonna be number 4 and you're not even 30, my G? Like you at
Yeah.
least need to be 50 for me to
Right.
not
For me to
feel
not,
any
even
kind
then
of
it's
way
a red
about that.
flag.
It's
Like
still a red flag. The 26, that flag is bloody, it's
yeah.
burning,
Yeah.
it's buried. Like,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
My goodness. Okay, sure.
Excuse me.
Yes. So I wrote his name down. We gonna call him Officer Jones.
Officer Jones. Who? Officer Jones.
Officer Jones. Um,
We need his first name. We
predatory
need his badge
ass.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Officer
That's so
Jones was
crazy.
up in the school having secret meetings in the library or pulling this child for secret chats
Yeah.
like he's a therapist or something.
It was so weird. And in her 11-year-old mind, she doesn't know anything. She doesn't really know what's going on. She's still very innocent, but she knows that like this man is giving her the affection and the attention that she has been seeking so desperately from her mother. And she feels like she's falling in love with him. I mean, as an 11-year-old child, you don't know what it means to fall in love with somebody. Like, she has no clue what any of that actually means. But, in her mind, he is like her escape. He is her ticket to freedom. And he's also just love. He represents love. And that's something that she feels like she is sorely lacking. Um, and so, she fantasizes about running away with him, and he promises her that they will. She tells him that she loves him. He tells her that he loves her. He's like touching her. At this point, so far it seems like just on the knee, but still
Mm.
just like an inappropriate amount of like affection for her. And she tells him about her parents' drug use and how she feels neglected and just unloved. And he really latches on to this. And I think that that's where she starts coming up with a plan for like, this guy can be my ticket to escape. And she's like, she recognizes that he's giving her that attention, and she's also playing up on it. I mean, as any child would do, like you
Yeah.
think you can get an inch, you're going to take a mile. Um, and so he gets the sheriff involved, and they get a search warrant to raid her parents' home looking for drugs while her parents are away on a work trip. but they don't find anything, which I was like, I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. And they didn't.
I didn't think that was going to happen. I'll be honest. I actually thought they
Yeah.
were going to find something.
Something, I don't know why, like something, yeah, something about the way she set the story up. I was like, I feel like they're not going to find what they're looking for. Um, and now she's like, oh shit, what have I done? Like, I had these people come in. She's not staying at home at the time. So they go in, they destroy her home, tear it apart, looking for drugs, don't find anything. At the time, she wasn't staying at home because I guess her parents were out of town. So she's in somebody else's care. Um, so she can't even like try to clean up the mess before her parents get home. And her sister knows too. So now she's worried that her sister's gonna like let the cat out the bag and tell her parents. Um, and so she offhandedly tells the Officer Jones, that her parents are gonna kill her when they find out what happens. You know, kids just be like, "Oh my God, they're gonna kill me! Like I'm in so much trouble." And he's like, "Really?"
And
And I
this
think,
creepy old.
right, he's like, "Oh, okay, like we can do something about that." And she sees that he's like intrigued and piqued by this and desperate for attention. She kind of doubles down. CPS gets involved. A social worker comes to the house. She ends up getting put into foster care and her parents get arrested. But because they can't find any evidence of child abuse, she ends up reuniting with her family. But at this point, it's like the damage is done. Like,
Yeah. Well, and they
they,
know that she's
right,
the cause of.
of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, this is so crazy. Like, it's like there's so much going on. But it's like all of this was for attention, a misguided attempt for attention. And because of this, she has done like irreparable damage to her family and her whatever resentment her mom has already felt towards her is just like, I mean, completely blown up. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's where it gets so challenging for me because, as we discussed, the examples of what had happened to her prior to this incident were 4 10 bad on the bad, crazy
Mm-hmm.
scare. You know, like it wasn't like they were sleeping in dog houses outside eating dog food. Like
Right.
she yelled at you and she did some punishments that we probably wouldn't have done, but
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
and I mean, I feel like as someone who is not a parent, it would be hard for me to say, well, you should love your child no matter what they do to you, and you should never resent or feel any kind of way.
Right.
But I don't know how I would be in that situation
Yeah.
if my kid almost took my livelihood
Yeah.
away
Right.
because you mad or I don't know.
Right.
And again,
And
maybe
not
the
just her
family should have.
lively.
Yeah,
I was just gonna
yeah,
say not just hers, but like she would have separated her parents from her sister too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And her dad, truthfully, I've not seen any instance of him being problematic in any way other than maybe not checking the mother, but maybe he, like, was he even around in those
Right.
situations? Or,
Yeah.
again, I don't know, but
Yeah.
this Revelations chapter and
Mm.
her obviously being someone who needed affirmations, she probably needed to be hugged more. She
Mm-hmm.
needed words of affirmation. Like that cop just saying, I missed you
Mm-hmm.
because, over the weekend or whatever, like for that to be like, I'm sure she just needed that, some of those small things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yes, what she did cause damage. Do I think that her parents played a part in it? Yes, to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But could I just say, like, y'all should just chalk it up and, like, deal with it? I don't know. Because that's a
Right.
betrayal that's like, oof, that's
Right.
tough.
Right, right. It definitely sounds like there was like some selfishness on her part and on the child's part, on Melissa's part. And it's interesting because she says, like, her family's fracture beyond repair and she thinks it's her fault. And I'm like asking myself, like, is it her fault? Like, that is such a, I mean, I don't know how to answer that question because I'm like, right, like, yes, I think her parents influenced the choices that she made and like the desperation that she experienced that made her make these choices. And if she were a fully developed adult instead of an 11-year-old, or even
Yeah.
someone who was like later in her teens and had like more awareness of how the world works, I could say it was her fault, but it's like, honestly, not for nothing. I feel like it's Officer Jones' fault. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
it's like this was a perfect storm. And I feel like he was the catalyst, the thing that like really triggered all of this because he didn't have to do, you know what I mean? Like he didn't have to like, and she says it in the book. She's like, I, as one of the footnotes, she says like, I don't remember
Oh yeah.
exactly what it is, but she mentions how let me find
Yeah,
I don't know
she
how
was,
important it is.
that is something very different in this book for you
Yeah.
all. I've these footnotes are very interesting, which there was another when I was reading Barracoon, they would have
Mm.
endnotes.
Oh.
And I kind of wish they had footnotes because I would
Mm.
never go back to read the endnotes that would reference certain parts.
Yeah.
So, sometimes books give you a little bit more context to
Yeah.
just what you see. So,
Right.
while this book isn't as, in my mind, poetic as Wild
Mm-hmm.
was with the words,
Mm-hmm.
it is very intentional about the story and breaking down more details.
Yeah, yeah. So she says in her footnotes, I often wonder how many young girls get crushes on their teachers or their parents' friends or some other unknowing adult in power, and that adult doesn't act inappropriately. I wonder what would have happened if my first crush had been one of those adults instead. And I really do feel like all of the elements were there. There was the emotional neglect from her parents. There was the desperation that she was seeking as a child, but she also doesn't know enough to really be informed about what she is doing and the consequences that this will have. But he does. And I think that he knew she was fine. She was probably not being abused like as well as
Mm-hmm.
he knew her. And like I know like, but if you're a parent, like you can read through the lines. Like you can tell a child who is saying things and doing things just for attention and who is like really experiencing like some serious neglect. Um so F you, Officer Jones, you suck. But yeah, all of this happens and I think it blows up her life. And like you said, this is like a crucial turning point. Like if we think this is bad, apparently it's about to get a whole lot worse. And I mean, she hinted at that. Like she talks about the odd jobs that she had to work as a teenager and how many times she ran away from school and getting her GED and all of this stuff. So she definitely goes through a lot. Um, but yeah, at this point, she still believes she could build a life and run away with Officer Jones. And he has completely abandoned her and told her to cease all contact. And it's like, that is like, I will say that, like, after all of this, that's the only thing that he actually did right. Like, leave that child alone. But I don't know, like, did anybody else in her life at the time like know what she was experiencing, what she was dealing with? Like, it sounds like she probably had to carry. This is abuse. Like, that is like child abuse.
Yeah.
What he did.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and it's like, did she have to carry all of this alone as a child? Like, I don't know that I for no, this is so much for an 11-year-old, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, the interesting thing for me, because the court ordered her to therapy or a
Mhm.
social worker, which, lines can get blurred in that way, but she
Right.
was basically speaking to someone, but I don't know if she actually, I don't to be honest, I don't think in the moment she knew the gravity of what was happening or what
Yeah.
this person I'm still
True.
confident that she thinks her parents were worse. She thinks she did something wrong. I don't
Mhm.
even think that she at that time could have seen the role he played in this and
Yeah.
how massive that was.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that conversation, because when someone is um I'm trying to say words that aren't real, but when there is a predatory person,
Mhm.
going after a child,
Yeah.
I I don't know what his actual end game was here.
Right.
Like, because a part of me was like, was this guy just trying to come up as a cop? Because at first it felt like he was looking for something like, oh, your parents do drugs.
Mm.
We're gonna have this big score, and it's like, no,
Right.
damn. Oh, but they abuse you. Maybe I can get a promotion because we got these crazy abusive parents off the. It was like he was looking for something
Right.
to bring himself up
Right.
because then when as you just said, she calls and is like, hey, basically they decide that they're moving to Montana is what kind of
Mm.
prompted that call. And
Mhm.
she's like,
Mhm.
and the mom is like, she ain't taking you with her. You lucky. The only reason
Right.
I'm taking you is because I can't legally leave you
Because
here.
I have
Otherwise,
to.
we would leave you
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And so her thought is, well, she don't want me to go anyway, so I'm gonna be with
Right.
Officer Jones because he obviously wants me. And
Right.
not that he could have realistically done anything with her. I think this only worked if she was still in Colorado. Her
Right.
going away means I can't be creepy on you no more. So don't talk to me no more. Like, don't call me.
Right.
That now you just gonna like risk my job. It was different when I could play with you in the library.
Yeah.
So that was the interesting part. But I don't think there's any way that an 11-year-old could have recognized the gravity of his role
Right.
in this at all.
Yeah. For sure.
So
Yeah, that's true. I think you're right. Oh man. So that is chapter one or chapter one,
part
part one.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, wow.
It was
um,
short, but a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, a
Like a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, yeah, like a lot. Yeah.
It was also a smack in the face because I did not know that's where we were going.
I didn't expect it. I was not ready. The first chapter, I was like, oh, okay, this might be boring. I don't know. Like, we're gonna
Yeah.
see. I'm gonna keep rocking with it, but the pace right now it feels slow. And then yeah, it got real. It got really, really real, and it sounds like it's gonna get realer. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm very curious about her story. I am definitely like I just want to know what how does she get from here to like where she is today as like this woman who finally did reach her goal of summiting this. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like experiences like this like can do really like one of two things to a person. Like I feel like she could have been somebody who like completely broke and like ended up, maybe on the street or homeless or worse, whatever. Like I feel like she could have like really this experience could have broken her, but it sounds like maybe it did break her at points, but that ultimately she was able to use it to do something really powerful and productive. So yeah, I'm fully bought into her story. I'm very curious, just what her journey was, and whew,
I
yeah,
just know I'm not making any predictions on this one.
yeah,
I'm just gonna ride this one out. I know I was
yeah,
all about the predictions before,
yeah,
I
Right.
have none. I mean,
I
because
can't call
honestly,
it.
not
Yeah.
at all. Like the first chapter is about her third summit, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but based on how she was talking in that first chapter, and I'm like, you not evolved, sis. You ain't there
Right.
yet.
Right.
She
Right.
was
Right.
so it was so much negative self talk that I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I don't know how far in years that.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
mean, I'm sure we're gonna get more into her personal life,
Mm-hmm.
how it does interact with men.
Mm-hmm.
Um, doesn't feel like kids are there, at least not as of that third
Mm-hmm.
summit, if any of these summits. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just it is I'm interested. I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You have my attention. Um,
so yeah.
yeah.
I don't no regrets so far on the book.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if y'all are out here in the world reading along with us, I would love to know your thoughts, especially on topics of like parenting and like just, everyone's been a child and
Yeah.
has, had some version of an upbringing. So I don't know, I'm curious like, what other people's perspectives are and on like the what she experienced and I don't know, like yeah, I'm just very
Just
curious.
based on the first part alone,
Yeah.
was moms doing too much or not? Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's really the question. Was mom
Yeah.
doing the most, or I
Yeah.
mean, it's all relative, but I'd be curious what other people thought and how
Yeah.
that sort of hit with them, because I was definitely a little.
You're like, that's light work.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah. But it's also like, I don't know. Like, I wonder, one thing I'm thinking about is like, I feel like, small town, like vibes, you're poor, you live in a really small town, you don't have access to a lot of resources or other information. Like, your world is really small and limited. And I wonder if, like, some of that craving for attention also just came from like, just having a lack of resources and exposure to things. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious.
I need more information. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna reserve. I'm gonna reserve a little bit more judgment for these next few chapters or parts
Yeah.
and see. Like, let me get to part 3 and then I'll,
Yeah. And then I'm
start to
judging. No, I'm
see.
just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to judge. We judge the words on the page. So sorry, we're not
You
writers
put it
yet,
out
but
there. Yeah.
once we
Yeah.
write something, you can judge away.
Yeah,
So
totally. You can judge this. You can judge our
exactly. Leave a
podcast.
comment, leave a review. Like, hey, at this point, good review, bad review, but
Yeah.
we're still gonna. It's still very healing to read these
Yeah.
stories, and it still does excite me because, like I said, I want to go to South Africa next year. Like, I don't know that I would ever climb Everest. I know
Mm,
that's I don't think I can physically ever climb Everest.
mm,
Well, I shouldn't say that, but
mm.
yeah, but it's all every time I read these, I always try to put myself on the adventure side, not the trauma side. I try to
Mhm.
put myself in the shoes, and not that I don't have my own somewhat parental trauma that
Mhm.
I probably
I
will
think
pull
all
from at some
Black
point.
kids of our generation have
Yeah,
some level of that. Our generation and above.
yeah, yeah. So I think I just feel like, goodness, if y'all grew up when I was growing up, the way
Yeah,
people are treated and
right.
CPS and different things,
Yeah,
like I'm like, oh,
right.
okay, that might have been a
Man.
problem back then, but
I
I
remember
came I
getting
came
like,
out very well.
yeah, I remember getting vague. I should be careful saying this. They were not
I
literal
know
death
what you're
threats.
trying to not say because I'm trying not to say stuff too. So I'm like, but the people out there who know,
If you know, you know. My dad would
you
be
know,
like, he'd be like, I brought you into this world and I can take you out. And I'm like,
yeah,
I know how life works, and there's really only one way to get taken out. So what you trying to say? And do you want to say it into the microphone?
yeah.
Like, um, but
Uh,
yeah, wow. Oh man.
and on that note,
Laugh, cry, laugh,
we
sob.
love you. We love you, parents. Well, mine's deceased.
Yes,
My
I
mom
do
is
love
not,
my
but
parents. Yeah.
you know, so
I do love my parents. They did the best they could with what the emotional tools that they were also given. And,
yep,
Black folks have sustained trauma in this country. So, it's
yep.
not for no
Generational
reason.
trauma is real.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So,
but yeah. Well, part one is done. I'm looking forward to part two. I hope that you all stick along and join us. And yeah, any final thoughts from you, Tiff?
just keep saying your affirmations, keep reading, keep finding peace in whatever you can, and keep rocking with us. That's all I
Yay.
got.
Cool. Sweet. Well, I guess until next time, we'll see you next time for part two. And yeah, take care.
Yep, yep. Peace.
Books and Boulders, an adventure podcast produced by First Outdoor Company for climbers, readers, and everyone in between. Subscribe now and join the BB Book Club.